Welcome to Red Kingdom Sports, and we're here to review just a separate game from this weekend. It was a crazy, fun, stupid game, and I had someone on Twitter ask me if I was going to review this game, and they asked me to do it separately, and I was thinking, why not do it separately? Because it was a good enough game that I feel like it could probably be discussed in its own separate video. Now, let's look at some stats before I fully get into this game. Carson Wentz had a really, really good game. He threw for 306 yards, 3 touchdowns. Of course, we can never get a clean game with Carson Wentz and the Colts. He always has to make some stupid plays. He had a fumble, a couple interceptions, and I'm just thinking, of course, we can't have one solid game, and it had to be against Tom Brady of all teams, where he just makes the mistakes that bail out Tom Brady. Now, as you hear in my reviews all the time of the Tom Brady documentary, I think Tom Brady is great. I really, really do. But good God, the amount of luck that Tom Brady had in this one game alone is just, it's nuts. When people say he has crazy luck, this game literally shows how much luck that Tom Brady has throughout his entire career. It's just nuts. It's crazy. If I didn't mention the Bucs won 38-20 or 38-31. I just read Carson Wentz's stats. Jonathan Taylor didn't really have one of his best games, but still late in that fourth quarter on that drive to tie the game, he went absolutely nuts on that drive, just running all over the Bucs defense. And the guy that wore the run the damn ball hat, summed up the game perfectly. I feel like if they just would have committed to it a little bit, let Jonathan Taylor get his feet wet, let him get it going, I feel like he could have done better. But for some reason, they let the narrative and the stats of the Buccaneers defense get to their head or something like that, because they refused to run the ball. And when they finally did, and you could argue it was a little bit too late when they found their run game, because at that point, if they lose the lead, they're going to have to start throwing the ball. And when you have Tom Brady, who really didn't have his best game, 226 yards, a touchdown, interception, this honestly was not one of his best games. It really was not. I know it was a really subpar Tom Brady performance game. The start of this game, he was terrible. The Buccaneers were terrible. They had a fumble. They punted so many times. They had one touchdown after a Colts fumble. So if you look at the way that the Buccaneers scored, they scored on a short field after a Colts fumble. They had one really long drive. They went 84 yards for a touchdown. Colts fumbled again on a short field touchdown for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. An interception by Carson Wentz. Another touchdown. It was very, very frustrating. 3 turnovers that the Buccaneers scored off of touchdowns. And one of them was really deep, and it was in the red zone, I think, and just Carson Wentz fumbled the ball, and this is where I'm just thinking we can never have a clean game with Carson Wentz. Fumbles the ball, and in the red zone, could have taken a 17-point lead, could have went up 31-14, and then it was literally the most frustrating and annoying part of this entire game. And early on in the game, I'm thinking, oh great, this was the Colts trading for Carson Wentz. Helped everybody. It helped rejuvenate the career of Carson Wentz after a really, really bad couple of years in Philadelphia. But no, he had to make really dumb plays again, and it's really frustrating. Now, the dumb plays weren't as dumb as they were, but it's just the fact that Carson Wentz cannot have a clean game is the most frustrating thing to see and watch, because the amount of times that he could have played well and didn't. It was just really, really frustrating. And then if you look at Tom Brady's end, it's not like that he played well. His defense bailed him out many a times. Hell, there was at the end of the game, there was the kickoff that we thought was going to go for a touchdown, got lucky, and then Carson Wentz just made an awful throw at the end of the game for an interception, couldn't even get it into the end zone, so he never really had a chance. Like, that's how close we were to this game possibly being tied. The Buccaneers most of the game did not play very well. Yeah, they scored 38 points, but when you have 3 turnovers, you kind of expect somebody to score a touchdown, especially on a short field. Yeah, Tom Brady's greatness, yeah, he can score off of short fields, but I don't think most of this game was about Tom Brady. Like, the last touchdown drive for the Buccaneers, I don't think had anything to do with Tom Brady. That entire last drive was nothing but Leonard Fournette. That entire last drive, in my opinion, nothing but Leonard Fournette. It's just, it was literally the epitome of a Tom Brady game. It really, really was. And then the luck of Tom Brady also continues when he has these ridiculous defensive pass interference. Because there's a guy, I'm sure you've heard of him, Barry, on Twitter. He's an entertaining dude. I love everything that guy does. He keeps a running tally of everything that he does. He had 2 or 3 defensive pass interference calls that honestly weren't pass interference calls, and then there were some on the Colts that the Colts didn't get called. It was so freaking frustrating to see that. Yeah, Tom Brady is great, but when you see a guy and the narrative, oh, he's great. This game, I don't think showed that he was great. He got bailed out many times. Now, when you get it to Gronk, those two have great chemistry. Anything that went to Gronk in this game, I'm like, okay, that was vintage Tom Brady. That was amazing. It was great. But anything else, I don't see it. I really, really don't. Because Gronk and Leonard Fournette were really the only two productive people on the entire offense. When you have Chris Godwin, 4 for 24, and Mike Evans, 3 for 16, they didn't do anything. They didn't do anything at all. And these defensive pass interference are just... It's literally the epitome of Tom Brady's career, it just feels like. And I'm sure I'm missing a whole bunch of other things that happened this game. I tried to keep notes as I was going. It's just the Colts, 1 week, if they didn't do anything stupid, could have won this game. They really could have. They seriously could have. But they have to do stupid things every single week. It's literally, it feels like it comes down to one play when the Colts lose. That may not be the case, but that one fumble really felt like it cost them the game. That one, they had 2 fumbles, really, but the one in the red zone really felt like it was a difference maker, because when you have one early on, fine, 7-3, that's when it happened, fine. It's still early in the game, it's still the first quarter. But then they roll off, score a touchdown. They're up 17-7. Okay, Tampa Bay scores. They score again. It's 14-24. The Colts have another 10-point lead, and then they have a chance to go up 17 points. And they have to do stupid things. It's so frustrating. It really, really was. And yeah, I think Carson Wentz has been playing his best football in a long time right now. I really do. But for some reason, Carson Wentz has to make one stupid play every single week. And then Tom Brady, that stupid narrative that is true. Everybody talks about that Panthers Super Bowl back in like 2004. He's bailed out by his defense, or, lucky plays. Part of that's true, part of it's not. But like, if you want to talk about lucky, this entire game was nothing but luck for Tom Brady. Nothing but luck. Untimely turnovers by the Colts, defense bailing them out, and then ineptitude on Carson Wentz's part at the end of the game. Couldn't even get the ball to the end zone. I know it may not have been a touchdown, but they were set up in a good spot, because the Tampa Bay defense didn't play particularly well at all this game, I don't think. Yeah, they were able to contain Jonathan Taylor for most of the game, but most of these guys, like, you had the ball dispersion of Carson Wentz today was great. Jack Doyle, Michael Pittman, T.Y. Hilton, Nyheim Hines, Jonathan Taylor got the ball, Zach Pascal. Look at the list of people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different receivers. Like, he was able to disperse the ball the entire game. It just felt like really dumb, unfortunate things that happened to the Colts. The Colts are one of the most frustrating teams in football to watch. They're 6-6, and I really feel like their record could be much better than what it is. You look at the Rams game earlier this year, possibly could have won. You look at the Ravens game, I think that was on Monday Night Football. They completely choked in the fourth quarter. The second Titans game, they could have won, but Carson Wentz is an idiot. And then they've had really good convincing wins. They had that win against the Bills. They had a really good win against the Jets. They had a dominating win against the 49ers, Texans, Dolphins. It just feels like Carson Wentz cannot stop making stupid plays. And it feels like the Colts can't stop doing stupid things. I think they're a good football team. I think they're better than their record shows. And I don't think the Buccaneers are that good. I really don't. Tom Brady's great, yes. But how injured that secondary has been for the Buccaneers all year, it really does not feel like the Buccaneers played well at all during this game, at all. Because I took a picture of this that happened in the first quarter. There was 4 first downs total by both teams. There was 2 turnovers and 5 punts. Neither team was playing well, but when you have a defense like the Colts that was, shutting down one of the highest scoring offenses in football, you have a chance to win it. The Colts can't be making stupid turnovers. I feel like that's the moral of the story. Colts making stupid plays. If I missed something, please give me your thoughts down below of what you thought of this game. Somebody on Twitter asked me to make a review of this game separately from the other ones, and I told them I would. I thought it would be a lot of fun. They also want me to do a Bengals and Steelers recap, and I will probably do that. But yeah, if I missed anything from this game, or maybe if you just disagree with my opinion and give me your opinion of what you thought. But I think this is just an epitome of a lucky game from Tom Brady and his defense bailing him out many, many times, especially when the Buccaneers had like 2 turnovers in this game that really could have cost them. But I mean, they got the win. I guess congratulations to the Buccaneers, even though that the Colts are the most frustrating team to watch. So yeah, give me your thoughts down below if you agree with my opinion, if you want to expand on my opinion, or if you completely disagree with my opinion on this game. I want to hear your thoughts down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I will see you in the next one.